Hi everyone, it's Marla. Welcome back to Twinstrology, where we talk about twin flames, astrology, and ascension. And today we're going to do the twin flame energy reading for the month of December. So I'm asking you all to bear with me this month because I've been very busy. I'm extremely tired, and it's been so dark where I live. I haven't seen the sun in days. And so it's really hard to find a place in my house to set up the proper lighting for using my camera. So I'm going to just use an image of the cards that I've pulled today. And hopefully, as we go into January, things will be set up a little better for me. But it's just so much easier to do it this way. And it's going to be so much easier for me to edit as well. So yeah, just, maybe pardon the lower production value today than I normally would have. There has been a lot of energy shifts, so I'm assuming that a lot of you are just feeling really tired. Fatigue is something that is coming up a lot when I'm doing readings with people, and this is due to the energetic shifts that we're experiencing. So self-care, self-love, and we'll all get through it, I'm sure. So let's start the reading at the top. And I'll see if I can pull this image in a little bit so that you can see the central themes a little bit better. Okay, and we're going to start in the middle with the question oracle for the overall energy of union in December. Am I truly being open with this person, or am I creating subconscious barriers to this relationship? Well, December, I can see in the cards, are going to really be focused around relationships. And of course, the central relationship is the twin flame dynamic. But as we go through December, we're healing another layer of separation. Separation, it's a really broad term. There's a lot of beliefs, programs, karma, situations that create different types of separation. In December, what is showing up a lot is separation through relationships and clearing toxic relationships. So some of this energy is going to be these subconscious patterns. Either they're a pattern that you have known that you've had, maybe you haven't been able to clear it, but you're getting some kind of clarity around it. Or it was something that you weren't even aware that you were doing, that you're going to get some understanding of. Let's look at the Twin Flame Oracle card for union. Past lives are influencing our connection. I've lost you in other lifetimes, and that makes me afraid. I need to heal the grief to allow the love to bloom. Now, this is an 8 card. It's in the suit of karmic ties, so right there, we know we're dealing with a past life issue. But this is also the 8 of the past life suit. 8 is karma. 8 is also the infinity, but really what is karma but this kind of cycle or loop that we can get stuck in. But also 8 has the infinity, is also eternal. And it's this eternal bond that we have with our twin, of course. And I think as I look at the central theme and the cards for the energy of union, it's very clear that there's this eternal bond between twins. But there's also this reflection of the bonds that we have with other people in our lives, with our family, with our soulmates. And we're needing to look at those relationships as well and heal some of the dynamics within those relationships. But this card is talking about grief that we've experienced at some other point in our soul's journey. Could be past, present, future, parallel, this lifetime. We've all experienced deep grief. Some of that grief is most intense with our twin. And the times that we have lost our twin in these other lifetimes, it could have been through death, but it could have been through separation because of family issues, authority figures, previous marriages. You know, as I said, the ways of separation are long and varied. But I expect for all of you watching this, there will be some reflection of this, some piece of this shown to you in December. Sorry about that. This is clarified with ring. And look at how these rings are stacked on this card. Again, they are reminiscent of the number 8 or the infinity symbol, or even I think it's called the Vesica Pisces. So again, there's this eternal. Some of the key words on here are cycle, circular, closure, but also bond, contract, partnership, agreement, trust. So we have this central theme here of the deep bond and the deep love between twins. And yet, for many of you, you're experiencing separation in some way. And so we all have to look at that, masculine and feminine. Even if you are with your twin, what do we need to look at about what we think and believe and are programmed about relationships? And who are the people around us that are, well, the word that comes to me is interfering with that relationship. And this can be multidimensional interference as well. So the song for the overall energy of union is Nothing Compares to You. Most of you will know this song because it was sung by Sinead O'Connor, who made it a big hit, but Prince is actually the writer of it. It's been 7 hours and 15 days since you took your love away. I go out every night and I sleep all day since you took your love away. Since you've been gone, I can do whatever I want. I can see whoever I choose. I can eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant, but nothing, I said nothing, can take away these blues, because nothing compares to you. Well, what's standing out to me is the first verse. It's been 7 hours and 15 days since you took your love away. Right? There's the separation. The next verse is kind of like how we go into that self-protection mode. Well, I can do whatever I want now that you're gone. Some people hide behind that and they act like they don't care. But inside, nothing compares because this love and this connection is so deep. What's positive? In unions, we incarnated together to clear specific patterns from our ancestral bloodlines. So here comes the family stuff. Now it is December, right? It's holiday time. People are going to get together. You're going to be in close proximity to family members. If you are in a karmic relationship, you're probably going to be spending extra time with that person because it's the holidays, people will be on vacation, people will be getting together. And so there's going to be lots of opportunities to get these aha moments and these clarities about relationships. And I do feel like these patterns that we're clearing this month of December most of them are going to relate to relationships in some way. A lot of issues with the parents are going to get shown, but our parents are a product of their parents, and they're a product of their parents, and they're a product of their parents. So this is the ancestral bloodline. This is one of the important missions of twin flames, to clear the bloodlines. So when we change, when twins are able to heal these patterns, it's like that program that has infected the family is done. And their children don't need to carry that program anymore. And there can be other things other than programs that are being cleared. I think a big thing that we're going to be looking at in December is our inner child. Because a lot of these patterns that we carry, they all go back to our parents, which isn't always fair because, like I said, our parents are a product of their parents. But how our parents made us feel affects the relationships that we have with others in so many ways. I'm sure you've all heard that you marry your mother or father, and basically whatever unresolved issues you have with your parents, you tend to attract a partner that has those same issues, because they're subconscious. And so this is why it's so important to gain clarity. This is clarified with third person, another person involved, someone else's influence, love triangles. Well, the obvious energy of a third person is what we term the karmic partner. A lot of twins are still in marriages with other people. And so that's the obvious place to look at for where you're at in relationships. Are you still in toxic relationship patterns? Are you becoming more aware of those toxic relationship patterns? Are you healing those toxic relationship patterns? But this third person can also represent the family energy, because it's just another person's energy involved. For some of you, it could even be someone outside of those two categories. It might just be a person around you that wants to interfere and attempts to block this connection. So it could be a friend, it could be a boss even. It could be someone that's just jealous of you, that wants to interfere in this relationship in some way. So this is getting cleared out. I think what you're going to want to focus on in December, by the way, this mission card is also an 8 card, karma, is what things have you taken on from your family that you have yet to clear, that's keeping you from having the positive relationships that you want in those many facets. What's keeping you from getting closer to your twin flame? And what are your inner thoughts about yourself that are coming from other people that don't fit you anymore, but that you're still believing and limiting yourself by? So as I was preparing to do this reading, I decided to draw a couple Power of Surrender cards just to clarify the energies here. And what I got for what's positive is surrender to setting limits. It's healthy to set boundaries in relationships, practice expressing your needs, and remember that no is a complete sentence. Okay, so these cards, those surrender cards, really cleared up here that yes, we're talking about toxic relationships in some way and how we need to set boundaries in toxic relationships. What this is showing us, though, because this is in the place of positive, is that there's a lot of healing happening around abandonment. So where you can be afraid to let those toxic relationships go because you're afraid of being alone, or there's some other block to your authentic expression with these toxic relationships, you're going to get clarity on that, and you're going to, if not take the steps to set boundaries and limits in December, you're preparing to do that within the next few months. The song for What's Positive is Nothing Can Come Between Us by Sade. I always hope that you remember we'll never really learn the meaning of it all. What we have is strong and tender, so hold on. In the middle of the madness, when time is running out and you're left alone, all I want is you to know that it's still strong. Can't pull us apart. Nothing can come between us. So it truly is a good thing, and I always wanted you to know there is always this, and this is everlasting, so hold on. It's about faith. It's about trust. It's about faith. So on the twin flame level, this card is telling us that these other relationships, these toxic relationships, aren't going to succeed in coming between you. And yeah, these can be external relationships, but it can also be relationship patterns that are internal that have come from previous relationships. So like I said, whether you are in separation, whether you're with your person, whether there's actually third parties, or whether it's something you have to clear in yourself. This is our theme. What challenges, twins? I care about you even when I act like I don't. I'm hiding my true feelings because I feel vulnerable. Okay, this is the outcome of those toxic relationships. Because those toxic relationships have contributed to the subconscious patterns that now we're afraid of love. We're afraid of being honest. We're afraid of being truthful because we don't want to be hurt. We don't want to be abandoned. We don't want to feel that sting of rejection. So we create limitations. We hide our feelings. We're not honest. Of course, there's a lot of programming around this as well, especially if there's a marriage involved, or if the person that's your twin has a lot of, differences from you. And maybe in your family, like those differences were not acceptable. And so now there's fear, not only how you're hiding things from your twin, but kind of at the core of that might be because you've got to hide this from the people around you. Some of you may want to look at control, how are other people around you controlling you, controlling your feelings? How are they limiting you? I think the masculine, they're still working through their inner pain and trauma and fears in order to be able to get there. And some component of that is going to be other people's views. And that could be family. That could be parents. There's also this piece for the masculine, which is about being the caretaker, the caretaker of the family, and responsibility, right? The masculine is very much ruled by what they see as their responsibility. But when we're talking about toxic situations, and in general, the masculine situations tend to be more toxic than the feminine, although, I'm just going to leave it at that. There has to be this lesson of learning to set boundaries with the toxic people instead of just continuing to take on more and more and more responsibility for the people around you without getting energy back. It's too draining. This was clarified with fine print. Look closer, research, be careful, pay attention, deep dive, hidden information, read between the lines. So there's something about the way that you are acting out about something that is connected to all these prior experiences, regardless of what person you're dealing with. It's almost like you have to go in and find the chords that are connecting you to these issues. The surrender card that I pulled here for what challenges is surrender unhealthy relationships. Let go of relationships that don't serve you, including unavailable or toxic people. You deserve to be treasured by others and to be surrounded by positive people. Are you being treasured? Are the people around you lifting you up or dragging you down? Oh, I forgot the song for the challenge. Do What You Want, But Be What You Are by Daryl Hall and John Oates. Do what you want, but be what you are. There ain't no right or wrong way, just a play from the heart. It ain't a sign of weakness to give yourself away, because the strong give up and move on, while the weak give up and stay. So do what you want, but be what you are. You can change, you can change, you can change, you can change, but you can't conceal what's deep inside of you. It's your game, it's your deal. So do what you want, but be what you are. So I definitely wanted to read this song because it fits what we're talking about so well. Be what you are. Do what you want. I often interpret this song as like he's saying to his partner, do what you want. Like stay in that relationship or go. But at least be true to yourself. Be who you really are and don't do something because other people are wanting you to do it. So are you being what you are? Are you following your heart? The line in this song, it ain't a sign of weakness to give yourself away because the strong give up and move on while the weak give up and stay. So this is kind of a flip in what is kind of the programming of humanity, which is like, you have to stay. It's the strength that makes you stay in a relationship and not give up on it. Even when it's extremely toxic, you should stay. But here he's saying, no, it's actually the strong that know when to cut their losses and move on. And it's the weak that stay in relationships where they shouldn't because they're not using the inner strength to free themselves. Now the feminine. What is currently leveling up in my life and how will it show up for me? The first card is I always felt I had a higher calling in life and our connection brings me more clarity on it. So it's this connection that is guiding the feminine to the true calling. This card is a mission card. It's a 10 mission card actually. So it's like this new cycle in mission is starting. Having appropriate boundaries is extremely important when we're talking about our mission and purpose, because many of you are healers or light workers, or you're doing something with the collective. And part of the process of that is learning the appropriate boundaries. Whether it's just being able to say no to people or whether it's putting yourself first so that you have the appropriate self-care. This was clarified with Swans, which is the twin flame card. And it's also the faith card. We've had a lot of tests around faith, and I hope that we're coming out of that because it's been really, really difficult energy to work with, and there's been a lot of ups and downs. So I do hope these cards are saying that what's leveling up is our trust in this connection. And the songs certainly play into that as well. How this is being transformed for the feminine is you're projecting your own fears and limitations onto me. Go within to understand that you're seeing yourself, not me. Here we have another 8 card. So for the feminine, what is being shown is how fear is creating limitations for you. So this is that needing to really look at self. And this is clarified with scuba diver, going within, 0 point, self-examination, self-reflection, subliminal. So really looking within and seeing what are fears and limits that are being projected. What are other people projecting onto you? How are you setting boundaries? Where are the toxic relationships in your life? That's all of that energy. But I think what's really underneath this for the feminine is clearing codependency. So let me just say something about projection, because we talk about this a lot. And while we do project our negative patterns onto other people also project their negative patterns onto us. And we have to be willing to look within ourselves to see where our projections are. Sometimes you'll get people that will just deflect everything you say by you're projecting, and they are deflecting that because they don't want to look at their own issues and the things that they're projecting. And that can become toxic. And ideally, what we want to do is be able to have a conversation in our relationships and be able to say, well, this is how I'm feeling. I'm understanding that this is my projection, but also you're reacting to me in this way, and I feel that's you projecting on me. And so how can we clear or understand our own projections so that we can create a healthy relationship instead of a toxic one? Something that was coming up for me for the feminine, it's not reflected in the cards, but it's more of information that I got, was that for the feminine, there's a lot of past life vows at play. And some of the vows here is giving away personal power. The vow of mission or the vow of our purpose, and that we're here to clear these dark energies, and a vow of breaking of traditions. Now, obviously, these vows are connected to the energy that we're talking about, because when we need to take back our personal power, we need to remember what we're here to do, which is what that mission card is. I felt a higher calling in life because of our connection. You're here to clear dark energy. Some of that dark energy is going to come from toxic relationships. And then breaking of traditions. By that breaking of traditions, part of that is programming and belief systems that you inherited from your family. I will say too, like generational curse has been something that's been coming up a lot in readings that I'm doing with people. A generational curse is an energy, a negative energy that has traveled down the family line from one generation to the next. It's often a behavior pattern. Child abuse is a good example of that, but it doesn't have to be that extreme or that negative. It can just be like a negative belief, a limitation, like you're not worthy, or good things never happen for us. And so those things are being worked on right now. So you might want to just spend a little time revoking any past life vows that you may have taken, such as revoking your personal power because of a soulmate or something like that. So for the masculine, the question oracle for the masculine is, how are my emotions affecting my relationship with this person? For most of the masculine, they are not expressing their emotions. They're trying to hide their emotions. Some of them may not be in touch with their emotions. And what I'm getting is that a lot of them are resistant to change, because to change means they have to confront some of their emotions. And they're so used to being disconnected from their emotions that that feels very heavy. Our children need to come first. Trust that they are part of our plan, or our inner children need to come first. Well, we've definitely talked about inner children as being something important to what is happening. But children can be involved as well, especially if there's a karmic relationship in the picture. And what I'm getting from this card is we have this man and he's holding a baby and it's a male child. And so I'm getting, like, for the masculine, a lot of them are going to be clearing the relationship with their father. You don't have to be in a male body to carry the masculine energy, but I'm going to talk about men in general for a moment, because I feel like men today in society find themselves in a really hard place of rediscovering who they are, what their role is, who they're meant to be. And a lot of this is going to come from their own father and their relationship to their father. And that relationship can be good or bad. And so there's a need to heal the relationship with the father. I think for a lot of twins, they probably took on the template of the absent father in some way, because we're here to clear the ancestral patterns. So we take on these situations so that we can overcome them. So often the father is the first abandonment wound. And it doesn't necessarily have to be absent father, because your father can be present physically and be totally absent mentally and emotionally. But if they're dealing with a toxic father pattern, then that also colors the way that they see their mother, and how they see their mother colors the way they see women in general. And part of that might be like the protector. So if the father's not there, then it's like the child thinks, I have to protect my mother. And then that carries on with their partner. And that's the masculine wanting to protect. But that protection becomes a hindrance. Because in a toxic relationship, by taking on the protector role, you're just giving all of your power away. This is clarified with heart. Love, romance, heart desire, content, fulfillment, forgiveness. Okay, so as the masculine is opening up their heart, there's a need to forgive. Even if you're a female and you're carrying the masculine energy, forgiving something in your family, or you're doing this inner child healing. The masculine are dealing a lot with the abandonment right now. And the shame, right? Like we talked about the protector. So when the masculine feels like they're the protector, and it becomes difficult to leave because then they feel guilty. Or if they've had a parent abandon them, then it's difficult for them to overcome their own abandonment wound in relationships. If they have children, they might fear that their children will feel abandoned. What they're transforming, I feel abandoned. I often feel like others let me down. And this is clarified with castle, history, legacy, the old guard. For me, this castle is like going back long time ago. And this ancestral patterns from, let's say, like the Middle Ages, for example. where the parents really had extreme control over their children, and there were certain expectations. And those expectations had to be met, or there were severe consequences for children who didn't listen to their parents. And that's how we got arranged marriages and that sort of thing. And that created a lot of separation. And those are still going on in the world today. What messages would the feminine say to the masculine? Whatever you just cleared helped me to shift too. Okay, so what you're clearing is helping the masculine heal and vice versa. Clear the illusion of the 3D world. Don't take everything at face value. There's a lot more going on spiritually and energetically than you can see. I think this is speaking to the patterns. Clear the illusions of the 3D world. A lot of beliefs that we're carrying are just these kind of things that I talked about with the castle. Like, authority figures made some rules. These are what the rules are, and everybody needs to follow them. And that's an illusion. Sometimes I feel like you're speaking to me in my head. It triggers me because I wonder how much you can see into me. I feel like the connection between twins is going to be really strong in December. There can be a lot of telepathy going on, and you may get some clarity around your twin, especially if you're in separation, because it's like you're going to be hearing them. What the masculine wants to say to the feminine: I'm going through physical and emotional ascension symptoms. I need space to rest, but from a higher perspective, I'm releasing old energy. So a lot of clearing going on for the masculine. These feelings overwhelm me and I become afraid. Sometimes I even run away from you because of it. It's these subconscious blocks that many of the masculine run from because they're not good at dealing with their emotions. And so it's easier for them to just block and run and not confront. But this is being looked at now. And the last message is, you are my true love, my heart, and my soul. Yeah, I do feel like the connection between twins, whether you're together in the physical or not, is going to be very strong. So the future. What do I need to release at the next full moon? Well, the next full moon is December 26th, and this is part of the 4-year cycle that I talked about a few weeks ago. 2019, December 26, 2019 to December 26, 2023. This is and there's some variance. It's not an exact date. If you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it. But this full moon is going to bring a lot of healing. The second one, when I asked what needs to be released at the full moon, I got what shared karma or past life is affecting this relationship or connection. I'm realizing this connection is something special and worth treasuring. So there's some realizations happening about the twin. Yes, this relationship is special, and it's worth taking the action steps to fulfill this relationship. This is clarified with the Fool or Uranus, which is like taking a risk, jumping off the cliff and trusting that Spirit's going to catch you, that everything's going to be all right. It's also like doing something different. We've got to change these patterns if we want to have this relationship. There's a lesson to be learned from this, and this is clarified with yes. So the lesson here is, so all the pain that we've experienced, our inner child, the fear, there's lessons to be learned from this. This is why we come here, to experience the negative in order to grow. It's only when we have challenges that we truly grow. And with this yes card, I feel like it's saying what we're working towards is optimism, joy, saying yes to life. This really goes with that Fool card because the Fool is saying yes to life. The Fool is ready to start a new journey and take risks in order to reach a new level of love and fulfillment. We project our patterns onto each other, and this makes it difficult to see what is real and what is fear-based thinking. This was clarified first with Milky Way. What I got from this Milky Way card was like our soul group or our soul family, which is all these people that we're interacting with. Even the negative relationships are our soul family. And so we're all just projecting onto each other, and we're all stuck in fear. And we're clearing this so that we can be a happy family again, so that we can break all these patterns and we can find the love and relationship that's right for us. But I did also pull a clarifier from the Twin Flame Oracle here. And it was, I watch you on social media and the internet. It's my way of staying close and finding out more about you. So this Milky Way card is also social media. It's also energy. I feel like a lot of activations coming in December. Activations that are healing separation. Remember, separation is not just with our twin. Separation is separate from the collective. And so healing these things not only helps our twin relationship, but it affects the whole collective, the whole planet. And this planet really needs some unity consciousness. But on a more personal level, there could be some communication happening soon, because it's really the patterns that are creating the running and are blocking the communication. And when those patterns are cleared, this opens the door to communicate. So I forgot to read the songs. So the song for the feminine is Plain Gold Ring by Kimbra. Plain gold ring on his finger he wore. It was where everyone could see he belonged to someone but not me. On his hand was a plain gold ring. Plain gold ring had a story to tell. It was one that I knew too well. And in my heart it will never be spring, long as he wears that plain gold ring. So something about marriage. Remember, we had rings as the central theme. Then it would make sense that this is the karmic partner, and that's in some way blocking your connection. But even if your twin is divorced, they could have had such a difficult experience in their previous marriage that they run and hide from the depth of your connection. The song for the masculine is Why Can't I by Liz Phair. Holding hands with you when we're out at night. Got a girlfriend, you say it isn't right, and I've got someone waiting too. But what if this is just the beginning? We're already wet and we're gonna go swimming. Why can't I breathe whenever I think about you? Why can't I speak whenever I talk about you? It's inevitable, it's a fact that we're gonna get down to it. So tell me, why can't I breathe whenever I think about you? Well, the first thing I would say is the title, Why Can't I? So whether or not your masculine is in a relationship with someone else, they're trying to break through this barrier of feeling like they can't do something. So it could just be that inner child wound. Why can't I express myself? Why can't I go after what I want? But as I said, for the feminine, because karmic relationships are coming through so strongly in this reading, that I would say for many, this is about being blocked by their karmic partner, because this song is really about starting a new relationship and like meeting when you're already with someone and having to go through that process of breaking up. So the song for the future is Constellations of the Heart by Kate Bush. I've had this song come up before. It's a great song. But I just got to explain a little bit because it's like a conversation in this song. So there's two parts. And so the song won't really make sense unless you understand that. So the chorus is, we take all the telescopes and we turn them inside out. We point them away from the big sky. Put your eye right up to the glass now, and here you'll find the constellation of the heart. So then, like I said, there's this conversation, and the first person says, well, we think you better wake up, Captain. There's something happening up ahead. We've never seen anything like it. We've never seen anything like it before. And the captain says, I want a full report. And they say, that's it. And the captain says, what do you mean, that's it? That's all you get. You better do something about it. What am I supposed to do about it? We don't know, but you can't run away from it. Maybe you'd better face it. I can't do that. Come on, face it. I can't do that. Come on, face it. What am I going to do? Is it going to hurt? Will it hurt me bad? Who said anything about hurting? It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be paradise. So first of all, looking within, but also there's something big coming. We all feel it. There's a big shift, and we've got to be ready for it. And healing some issues around these toxic relationships is part of it. So it may not be that all toxic relationships break down in December, but there's these aha moments, these clarifiers, there's coming to terms with who you are, what you want, what are you going to settle for? What are the fears, and how are you going to overcome these fears? This song is also saying, like, we don't know what's going to happen. There is no more information, right? So that can be like spirit saying that there is no exact timeline here. We're all just working on this. So if you're like frustrated with the timing, we also have this part that's like, there's no more information. So on a personal level, that is like being able to take the risk that we talked about. You know, you don't have to see every detail of what's going to happen in the outcome in order to take a risk. That is not taking a risk. That's taking a highly calculated risk. And part of releasing our programs is being able to take a risk and to know that it's okay. Nothing is going to happen to us. But there's also this part about, I feel it's a message from our guides, which is like, it's like we want a full report, and they're like, that's it. This is all the information that you get. So if you feel frustrated by the timing, part of this is there is no exactly set timeline. Time is not set in stone in this process. And so, yes, it's frustrating to be in separation, but we're all working as hard as we can as a collective. And like, if things aren't working as fast as we want, it's our fault. Our fault, I mean, as human beings, not individually, although, you know, how much you give to this process of clearing and healing, you know, that's each person's journey to figure out. And then this last line, is it going to hurt? Who said it's going to hurt? It's going to be beautiful. This is the inner child that's afraid of getting hurt. But unless you take that risk and put yourself out on a limb to possibly get hurt, you will not get the rewards. Sure, the karmic relationship is safe, but 99% of those karmic relationships are not happy. Or even if, I know some of you are going to say, well, I am happy. Yeah, you can live happy to a certain extent, but is it fulfilling of you on your highest soul level? Or is it a limitation to you? And if you would just take that risk, you may find that your life is everything that you've ever dreamed it could be. If you would like a personal reading with me or an astrology reading or a past life regression, I will link my website below. Wishing you all a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is you're celebrating. Sending you all a lot of love, and I'll speak to you soon.